I think Meroni, the next wine, number 20, has about 10% of Molinara, yes? 10%?
Around 12.
12, here we go. The highest percentage of Molinara in any Amarone. You can see, if you want to know whether a producer is making traditional Amarone, you ask them how much Molinara. If they say, what is Molinara? I never use it, then this is already an answer. Meroni is this absolutely fantastic winery that is obstinating in making wine like 30, 40, 50 years ago, before the quality revolution, but also before the style revolution in Italian wine, with all the big critics coming in, and Parker and Suckling, Wine Spectator and Gambero Rosso, who were promoting big black fruit juices with a bit of tannins in them. Meroni is making wine. If you went to a good Verona restaurant in 1968, I think you could get a glass of this style. Maybe not the quality. I think the quality is now a little bit higher, but because of all the meticulous attention that Carlo is giving. But I think it was more or less this style. And for me, very, very important, the aging. This is a wine for time. And it's not about primary fruit. It is not about freshness. It is about complexity. It is about nuances. It is about unusual aromas, because we have a lot of tobacco in this wine, for example. And you never get tobacco in a young red wine. It doesn't exist, because it is a tertiary note that is coming from the oxidation of some compound. And so when you speak to young drinkers, they have never had a wine that smells of tobacco. And they say, oh, wow, a wine can smell of tobacco. Well, every old red wine has a bit of a tobacco note, but you just never drink those wines anymore. And you also have, for me, this interplay on the palate between crisp, sweet, and bitter. Very important. And old wines, old vintages, the glorious wines of the past, they always had those elements in them, okay? Now, then we moved on to mostly making sweet-tasting wines, because people have a very sweet tooth now. They don't like sour, they don't like acidity. That, thankfully, is changing now. So we see a lot of consumers moving on to acidic wines, but bitter remains a problem. Proposing something that has a bit of bitterness is a problem. Amarone is always a little bit bitter. The name means bitter, because it was first made as a bitter recioto. They had a sweet wine, Recioto della Valpolicella, sweet red wine, and when it fermented a little bit longer, almost to dryness, they called it Recioto Amarone, which meant bitter Recioto. I love bitter tastes in food and in wine, and we should have more of it. I think it's a very noble taste. It's a very noble flavor. Great cuisine often has a bit of bitterness, and great wine should have. Think about sherry. Think about older champagnes. Think about really aged white Burgundy. Old Chablis. It has those almonds. Slightly mushroomy notes of the bitterness. So. My thanks to Carlo. I raise my glass to Carlo for resisting the temptation to change. It's always great to change, but sometimes it's great to stay the same.